We have True Texas Project on the website. We have a voter guide, so you can print that out and share it with anybody that you know who's wondering who to vote for. And so definitely take advantage of that as well. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to ask Mary to come up and say our prayer.
If you'll stand, please. Father, we are so privileged to be here tonight, and we thank you for every person that's here. We thank you for every candidate that is coming forth, Father, that they are stepping up and stepping out and trying to make a difference in our state and in our community. Father, I am reminded that when Moses' father-in-law came to him and Moses was having some trouble, the father-in-law gave him some good advice. And he said, you need to look for able people to serve. You need to look for people who fear God. You need to look for people who are trustworthy. You need to look for people that hate a bribe, that these will make your best leaders. So, Father, as we look at these candidates, we ask that you would make it evident to us who would be the best leaders in the roles where they are running. Father, we pray for those that are in the Ukraine. We ask for your protection. We ask that your angels would surround them and protect them in that country. Father, we ask for the truckers to remain safe and that you would protect them as well. And Father, as we do this night, may we honor and bless your name. Amen.
All right, y'all stay standing for the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. All right, we're going to sing the anthem now, so sing it loud and sing it proud. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who the stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Great, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and invite Molly up here for a word. Is Molly around? Here she comes. All right. Many of you know a dear patriot, Pat Williford. She passed, and Molly's going to say a few words in honor of her tonight.
Hi, I'm Molly Maddox. It's nice to see everybody. And I don't need a notebook to tell you about Pat, but I do want to give you an address. So if you have a pen and you want to write down her daughter's address, you're welcome to send cards, but she can't have visitors because of the medical situation. So anyway, Pat had a wreck. I know most of y'all know it, and She got better and she was home, and then they found her on her couch dead. And so all we know how she was found. Hopefully there was no suffering. And the funeral or the services are supposed to be in the spring when it's warmer, and maybe her daughter will be better. We'll pray for that. So if you want to send Susie Foster a card for her mother, Pat. Susie Foster, 6705 Nob Hill Court, North Richland Hills, Texas, 76182. And Pat, I'm thinking I can say a couple more words real fast, but Pat was very dear to my heart. We went to inaugurations together, block walk together, went on weekend trips, and I love that girl, just like I know all of y'all did. So we miss her. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Molly. If we could show the announcement video. Y'all listen up for the local announcements.
Hello, fellow Texans. You may live in Texas, but are you a certified True Texan? You can be. Remember at True Texas Project, we want our name to mean something. This is why we put together a series of 5 classes that we believe every Texan should go through. Once you do, you'll be certified too. And you can show it off with a new name tag.
During February and March, you have the opportunity to continue your journey of becoming a certified True Texan with a class on Texas Liberty taught by Jeremy Kitchen and Tim Hardin of Texans for Fiscal Responsibility. This class will teach the principles of capitalism, socialism, and how they differ.
This is a free course and a part of our regular monthly meetings, so all you have to do is show up. We're kicking it off in Lubbock, Amarillo, Denton, Beaumont, and we'll be in a location near you soon.
We now have 15 locations of True Texas Project, but Tarrant County continues to draw the largest crowds. Why? Because the group has gone beyond monthly meetings into true friendships. How do you build friendships within your group? By getting together socially.
We are looking for folks to help plan events in your area, like archery, a group dinner, paintball, a coffee, a painting class, or maybe even go to Topgolf. If you like organizing events, email randcarol@gmail.com. We need your help.
Speaking of TTP events, did you know that we live stream at least one meeting per month on our Facebook page? After the event is over, the recording also gets posted on our YouTube channel. You can link to both of those pages from the top left corner of our website. From our YouTube channel, select videos and check out some of our great speakers that you may have missed.
We've all seen yard signs popping up around town, so that can only mean one thing. It's election season. This is the busy season for True Texas Project. We've been working hard interviewing candidates so that we can help you make your voting choices. Check out our website under Primary 2022 for a list of voting recommendations for your area.
We also have a great tool you can use for those who don't understand the enormous opportunity before us with this governor's race. We've provided a list of Abbott's greatest hits. Hits to the citizens, that is.
Read why Abbott needs to go and why voting for anyone but Abbott does not mean we'll end up with Beto. There are a lot of scared people out there, but you can share this article with them and give them the courage to hire a new governor to lead our great state.
You asked for it and we're answering. True Texas Project is starting a new endeavor. In March, we will hold the first meeting of our True Texas Entrepreneurs. Are you a Patriot business owner and employer? This group will allow business owners to meet, support each other, work together on legislative issues, and eventually be in a directory of Patriot businesses that we share with our supporters.
We're starting a trial group in the DFW Metroplex that will network monthly, free of charge. If you want to get on the ground floor of this effort, or if you want to lead a similar group in your area, email julie@truetexasproject.com.
Spring is coming, and that means graduation. If you know a high school senior in a public school, be sure to tell them about the scholarship contest we're offering. Details are on our website.
You know what else happens in the spring? Texas Tough. It's our huge annual fundraiser, and it's the best event of the year. Mark your calendars now. Wherever you are in Texas, make plans to be in Southlake on April 23rd. Check out this promo video and get online to buy your ticket.
There are two other tools we want to tell you about. First is our text message list. It's one of the best ways to stay in the know about upcoming meetings, elections, and calls to action. Don't worry, we won't bombard your phone. We only send 2 to 3 text messages a month. To join, simply text TRUE to the phone number on the screen. Or you can go online and fill out a form. It's easy.
The other tool we offer provides another way to socialize with our favorite people, our chat groups. Each county has its own group on Facebook where folks like you talk about issues and elections, share funny memes, and build friendships. Just go to our TTP page, choose groups from the menu, and select your county.
Now that's all we have for TTP announcements. Stay tuned for more local announcements from your county co-director.
All right, so there's a lot going on, and we'd love for you guys to get involved. Come to me, or we've got a bunch of other people. We've got the True Texas sign that she's holding back there. Thank you so much, Mary. These are our yard signs. I've had a bunch of people ask, who do I vote for? And so I have directed them to, there's a topper on this yard sign that directs you to our website, and there you can get a voter guide as well. What's great about these is that they don't expire. You can use them every single election. And so it's not just for 2022 kind of thing. So we're selling those back in the back. Just see Mary afterwards for those. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move into, thank you. We're going to go ahead and move into candidates, okay? So we're going to start with local candidates. If any local candidate here in Tarrant County can make their way to the side here, we're going to go ahead and do local candidates and then move into state candidates. If state candidates want to, we have a reserve section here kind of in the front. You're welcome to come and make your way over here. Just a few things for local candidates. We ask that you stick to the 30 seconds. We have timers up here who are very diligent. They rock at their job, and they will notify you once your 30 seconds are up. Just a note, 30 seconds might not be a whole lot of time, but you have plenty of time afterwards to talk to voters. You guys can ask them any questions you want. It's just a nice time to get to know any of these candidates. So we'll go ahead, if you can come up on the stage and then exit this way, that would be great. And then after that, we'll move into the statewide candidates.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Liz Rivera. I'm running for the 324th District Court. It is a family court. It's a very, very important race. I am on the voting recommendations for True Texas Project, so I appreciate their support and their belief in me. I'm a small business owner. I'm a 16-year family law litigator and mediator, and I'm giving up my practice to do this because we need it down in the family courts. So please look me up, Liz Rivera for 324th.com. If you have any questions, come up and ask me, and just remember, local elections are super important, and thank you all for your dedication.
My name My name is David Lowe, and I'm running in the Republican primary for state representative right here in North Richland Hills, Haltom City, Watauga, Richland Hills. I am running against one of the wokest Republicans in the Texas House. She killed every single bill that would have banned child gender modification in Texas. I will never choose politics over children. Please check out davidlowefortexas.com and let's make Texas conservative again.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cynthia Terry. I'm running for the 325th Family District Court. It's an open bench. For the last few years, I've been serving under Judge Kim as one of his associate judges alongside Judge Porter in our juvenile court. I have run that courtroom with efficiency, transparency, and compassion while following the law and treating all parties equally. As a result, I cut down the number of days children spend in foster care by over 50%. We also, as a team, made it the most efficient court in Tarrant County, the second most efficient court in the state of Texas. Our family courts, I agree with Liz, are in dire need of reform. I ask for your vote. Cynthia Terry.
Hello, my name is Julie Lugo. First off, I'm very thankful to be a part of the list for the True Texas Project recommendations. Thank you. And just so y'all know, I've been a prosecutor for over 10 years. Last 3 years, I've been dedicated to prosecuting internet crimes against children, where I prosecute sexual predators who target and exploit children online. I grew up in Bedford, Texas with conservative Christian values, and I would really love to have your vote. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Don Hasse. I'm running for County Criminal Court number 10. I'm the only board-certified criminal law specialist in this race. I was a prosecutor under Tim Curry for 6 years, and I was a Republican precinct chair for 6 years as well. I really hope I can get your support. Don Hasse, County Criminal Court number 10. Thank you.
Hey y'all, my name is William Knight and I work for your elected DA Sharon Wilson. I was born and raised in Fort Worth. I currently serve you as the Assistant Chief Prosecutor of the Intimate Partner Violence Unit at your DA's office. And prior to that I was in the Special Victims Unit working on child abuse cases and elderly abuse cases. In 2019, my law enforcement peers voted me as Child Abuse Prosecutor of the Year for Tarrant County. I'm running for judge because we need people on the bench who understand how important those cases are. That's William Knight for the 371st District Court, knightforjudge.com. Thank y'all.
Thank you and good evening. I'm Brad Clark and I am running for County Criminal Court number 5. I want to take just a few seconds that I have here tonight to visit with you guys about that particular court. That is our family violence court. Court handles cases between intimate partners, assault, bodily injury, things of that nature. I have left some cards out here. I'm going to be here all evening. If you'd like to visit with me, I'd like to tell you why I am the most qualified candidate and really your only choice as a conservative Republican to handle this docket. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Eric Starnes. I'm running for Tarrant County Criminal Court number 7. I'm a retired U.S. police officer. I now work at the DA's office as a prosecutor. I'm not worried about the primary race right now. I am looking to November. I have a radical Democrat opponent that is all about defunding the police. I bleed blue after retiring out of that job, so please keep me in mind in November. Thank you.
Fellow Patriots, how are y'all doing tonight? My name is Trent Lofton. I'm a candidate for County Criminal Court number 10. I'm father of 3, beloved. My wife is at home right now too. I spent my morning with donuts and dads for my 4-year-old today. I am blessed to have the True Texas list of recommendations. I ask we all unite together. We all get out and vote, and especially in November, we all come and we make sure we keep Tarrant County our color in red. God bless you and God bless this state.
Hey everyone, I'm Tim O'Hare and I'm running for Tarrant County Judge. Thank you very much. I promise you this, I will stand for biblical values, family values, and American values, and you don't ever have to worry about me wavering. You don't ever have to worry about me folding or worrying about our next election. We will take the fight to the Democrats, but we will also make sure Tarrant County moves in a much more conservative direction. Thank you everyone for your support. I'm so appreciative. Thank you.
Signs all night. Hurts a little bit from that nighttime sign exercise last night. I want to thank everyone here for the work that you do. I'm Tom Wilder. I run one of the oldest bureaucracies in government, the clerk of the court's office, district clerk, actually, on the ballot. And I want to thank the board of True Texas for their unanimous recommendation, all 7 board members. That's very important to me. I'm also proud that I was the second one to endorse Tim O'Hare out of the county elected officials. There's more out there. Take a look at it. Tom Wilder, thank you.
Evening, Patriots. I'm Warren Norrid. I'm running for Senate 10. He says, yay, okay. I used to be an engineer. I left the productive side of life, became an attorney. The last 10 years I've been working to restore liberty, and I would appreciate your help so I go down and fix the laws that I'm trying to fix and Band-Aid right now with lawsuits. So electnorrid.com. Tell all your friends to vote in the primary. It's a big deal. Thank you.
My name is Ryan Catala, and I'm actually running for Congress. If you're living in Tarrant County, my name is the first on the ballot. That's less important. What's more important is I think that I have a vision for this country. We can have congressional races that don't cost millions. I've been running for 6 months, and I spent less than $5,000. I believe that ideas are more powerful than money. And I believe that if you, as the educated voter, pursue the information, you can find a candidate that matches your values. I'm confident that a Republican candidate is going to push America first, but the primary is the opportunity for us to experiment with this idea that I'm describing to you. So check it out.
Hello, my name is Maggie Clopton-Wright, and I'm here for Weston Martinez. He is running for General Land Commissioner, which there's nothing general about it. He's helped us with the Alamo and the cenotaph since 2017. He's worked endless with us. None of the other representatives or senators would help us except Kyle Biederman, very few. And also he will be ready to go in and revamp the veterans nursing homes and find out why the Chinese are buying some of that land. WestonForTexas.com. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Georgia Wrighthead. I'm from Johnson County, and I'm here tonight. I would like to speak on behalf of Sid Miller for Agriculture Commission. He has done a fantastic job. He's an 8th-generation farmer and rancher. He also has a degree in agriculture. He's been an agriculture classroom teacher before, so he knows what it's like and what the real stuff is out there. So go to MillerForTexas.com and vote for Sid Miller, Agriculture Commissioner.
Good evening, I'm Phil Sorrells, and I'm running for District Attorney. I'm proud to have the support of the True Texas Project, and I want to be here. You know, I've been out all day and standing out in front of a polling place. So my dogs are a little tired, my voice is a little hoarse, but I'm glad that to be here with people that are supportive and are ready to keep this Tarrant County red, and I thank you for your support.
How's it going, everybody? Hey, how many of you are grateful for True Texas Project? Real patriots in here. I'm proud to have the support of True Texas. My name is Nate Schatzline. I'm running for House District 93, and I'm incredibly excited. I oversee an anti-human trafficking agency right here in the district, and I've been a pastor for the last 10 years. Bottom line is we've got to secure our schools. We have to get critical race theory outside of our schools. Do you believe that? We must. We have to secure our border. The reality is the border crisis is not a race issue. It is a trafficking issue, and it is time to take a stand once and for all and stop waiting for the federal government to do it. We as Texas have to do it, and we have to secure our liberties. And so I hope I can gain your support. I hope you'll go to my website at natefortexas.com and vote Nate as you're voting in the early polls if you're in HD 93. Thanks so much.
We appreciate you all for being here, and we're going to go ahead and move into our statewide candidates. We've got 11 candidates. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know Daniel Miller, unfortunately, is not able to come, but he is in the running and just wasn't able to be here tonight. So what we're going to do is, with a cancellation, instead of 5 minutes, we're giving the candidates 6 minutes to speak. I'm not going to be introducing. They should know the schedule. If you can come up here, go ahead and speak for 6 minutes. Again, we have our awesome timekeepers here. And then afterwards, any questions, you guys can go out in the back. We've got all the flyers, and you can talk to the candidates live and in person. So we'll go ahead and get started. First up, we have Dr. John Spires, I'm sorry. Oh, and I'm sorry. Yes. We're going to go ahead. Thank you for reminding me. We're going to pass the... we're gonna do our pass the hat right now. We thrive on your donations. This is how we continue to do this every month and fight against the wokeism. So we really appreciate you guys supporting True Texas Project. And so these ladies are going to be coming around with some buckets. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you, sir.
No problem. All right, everybody, make sure you put something in there, because this is one of the most important things that anyone does in the state of Texas, and you're leading the charge. I'm Dr. John Spires, and I'm running to be your next Texas Land Commissioner. Why in the world is a doctor running to be land commissioner is one question, and the other question you're probably asking is, what exactly does the land commissioner do? Okay, I'm a heart surgeon by training. I grew up wanting to be a heart surgeon and train with Dr. DeBakey. I served in the Army Reserve. I thought I was going to do that forever, but I got hurt. Nobody wants a one-handed heart surgeon. So I went back to law school, and I've been fighting against government overreach ever since. In 2011, I had to sit down and write my thesis. And my thesis was about how the United States needs to secure its southern border against the cartel and the terrorists that are coming across, and how we're legally justified in doing so. We haven't done it yet, but I have a plan. I've been traveling around the state of Texas ever since, talking to people about what we need to do to get grassroots involved, to get good, solid grassroots candidates involved. And wherever I went, people would say, John, we need people that aren't politicians. We need people that put service above self. One day I realized they were talking to me. I realized that I had a plan to secure the border. I realized that I understood the needs of our veterans in our care homes. I testified before the Historic Commission. I'd like to think that it was mine, but it was the work of many hundreds and hundreds of Texans that secured the cenotaph, and I've been fighting against critical race theory for years. Let me tell you what, folks, we're in a battle. We're in a battle. We have 13 million acres that belong to you. 13 million acres. That's 8 times the size of the state of Delaware. Delaware is a sample state. They have a sample president named Joe Biden that comes from there. You have 13 million acres, and your land office uses that to support our oil and gas industry. We lease it, the mineral rights, not only oil and gas, but also rare earth elements. And who wants rare earth elements? The Chinese. Yeah, they're not getting them from us. I got news for you, okay? We lease that so we can raise money for our school children. We work with the State Board of Education. They make money available. What we're going to do in the land office is generate a curriculum so that we can educate our children about real Texas history. None of this made up, reimagined stuff. We're going to secure the Alamo. We're never going to reimagine it. We're going to make sure the cenotaph never moves. We're going to work to make our veterans' care homes better, because if we can't honor the men and women who have given us liberty and freedom, well, we need to hang our head in shame. And we're Texans. We'll always honor those good people. All right. Veteran cemeteries. Somebody from the land office said we don't need any more veteran cemeteries. We spend too much money on veteran cemeteries. I've got news for you. We're going to build more veteran cemeteries. That's not going to happen. Okay? We have a Veterans Land Board that makes land available to our veterans, but they haven't done a very good job of that. Their rates aren't competitive. They make it difficult. And in fact, many people around the state of Texas have never even heard of the Veterans Land Board. We're going to fix that. We're going to provide that service and more to our veterans. The land office has not played well with others. It is operated in a silo. You may know who the current land commissioner is. Yeah. I'm not interested in my future political career. I'm interested in being your land commissioner. I'm interested in doing that job. And the most important job, the job that most people don't even realize belongs to every candidate who's going to talk to you tonight, is securing our southern border. We must secure our border. There are 591,525 acres that belong to you along the southern border. Building a wall on that is easy because it's yours. Private land, I have a plan for dealing with that. Landowners want us to secure their land. They want us to provide for their safety. I am tired. I'm angry when I have to stand in front of folks and I sit down for a cup of coffee and I'm talking to them and they tell me how they get up in the morning and they look out their back door window and looking right back at them is someone who's crossed the border illegally. When men and women are afraid to go out on their land that's been in their family forever, they're afraid for their children's safety. When I stand along a fence line along our border and I see through my thermal vision scope little dots of people coming across. And when they come up to me and I say, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Well, we're just looking for work. And our DPS gets there and discovers, yeah, they're looking for work. They also have a warrant out for human trafficking. Okay, I'm tired of that. We're not going to have any of that. We will never tolerate that. Fentanyl's the #1 cause of death in our youth, 18 to 49. We've got to stop that. Who sends that fentanyl over here? China. China's buying land in Texas. They bought 140,000 acres in Val Verde County. 4.4 million acres of Texas belongs to foreign entities. 4.4 million. We've got to fight back against that, folks. The men and women you're going to hear from tonight, we all have plans for that. I can guarantee we're all going to fight it. I will make certain that the land office does not participate in any foreign get-rich-quick themes. We don't need to be subsidizing foreign windmills or toll roads. We don't need to give them our waterways and our valuable ranch land. I'm Dr. John Spires. I'm running to be your Texas Land Commissioner, to protect Texas. My slogan is for a safer, stronger Texas. I guarantee you, I will fight to my last breath for this land that I love. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless the great state of Texas. Thank you all. Make sure you get out and vote. Good job.
My name is Todd Bullis. I'm a husband, father of 10. 6 we adopted out of the foster care system. Very wicked system, by the way. There's one more we just got a little while ago. What I'd like to talk to you today is about the book of Isaiah in the Bible. If you read the first chapter of the book of Isaiah and replace Israel with Texas and read it, that's my message to you guys, to Christians. And basically what it says is, how long do you have to be punished? How long do you have to deal with these situations? Are you going to just sit there? Repent. Do what God says, and He'll heal our land. That is the key. So we have Child Protective Services, that's part of the sex trade. We have abortion is the #1 death of Texas. We have Republicans making iniquitous decrees. I'm a Republican, by the way, all right? Like the heartbeat bill that says when, where, and how you can and can't murder babies. That's an iniquitous decree. It's a wicked decree. Only God can say who lives and who dies, as far as innocent people go. Now, rapists should be put to death, right? Child molesters should be put to death. But what happens to a land that does not honor God? God oftentimes allows an invasion across their borders. I guarantee it, there will be no mercy in our land if we don't protect the most innocent. God said that he couldn't even imagine that his people would allow child sacrifice to go unopposed and actually partake in it. Abortion is child sacrifice. So instead of a woman going to, she's in college and she gets pregnant, or high school and she gets pregnant, she'll sacrifice the child so she can get through college. That's child sacrifice. She doesn't take the sacrifice. The church doesn't take the sacrifice. Some of them do. We're the church, right? Like this building isn't a church. We're the church. If a woman gets raped, right, and she gets pregnant, the worst thing that could ever happen to that child or that woman is for her to abort it. Because not only was she just raped, but now she is the murderer. She is the one with the power that abuses an innocent life. And believe me, no life can be created without God's ordaining it. So, people, we have 70,000 evangelical Christians here in Texas, pastors. Okay, 70,000 evangelical pastors. Over 30,000 evangelical churches. I'm not afraid of Texas turning blue. I'm afraid of God's judgment upon us pew warmers and pastors who placate and are apathetic to what's going on here in Texas. If we compare everything we do to the Word of God, we'll be okay. It's either, we don't want to be the lesser of two evils party. We don't want to be a little better than the Democrats. We want to honor God. Why? Because he'll help us. I'm a lot like Homer Simpson, okay? I really am. I'm just saved. And so everything in my life, I'll compare it to the Bible. And I'll repent and do what the Bible says. And it'll take a miserable creature like me and bless beyond compare. There's no greater trials that I've had than being obedient to God. And he gave me joy during that time. And still joy looking back. All the problems we have in Texas are all here because we deserve it, because we've been ignoring justice and mercy and not standing up. The Bible God calls us to take dominion of the land. Who's taking dominion of the land? LGBTQ, Muslims, the Chinese. And guess what? All these pastors are sitting around going, we can't be political. That's wrong. Stand up in your congregation and say no. There was the abolitionist of slavery, and abolitionists would stand up during the sermon and say no. No, that's not biblical. We need to take dominion of the land. We need to honor God. It's not about keeping things red. It's about honoring God. If we do that, we don't have to worry about it. It's getting back to basics. So repent. Right? We can repent. She said, I have to stop at repent. Thank you.
Hello, God bless you. I'm David Schenk. I am a Christian, a father, a husband, and a judge. I'm a real judge with a real record. I was going to bring my robe in here to show you because I've been traveling with it. It's wrinkled, it's torn, it's a mess. I don't think anybody could be living in this country with a job description like mine, which is the simplest and easiest job description there is in the world, right? You raise your right hand. You say, I solemnly swear that I will faithfully uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and this state. You've seen what's going on out there. You know what it is. What we used to know as civilization is under attack. Where does civilization come from? It's the rule of law. And in this country, where does the rule of law come from? It's the Constitution. It's under attack. I have been serving for the last 7 years right across the county line over there on the biggest appellate court in the state. We have had a mess. And there's two kinds of people in this world. There are people who go along to get along and pretend they're not seeing it. And there are those who dig in and fight. And I'm not looking for a fight with anybody. But we all have the same job description. So if you want to, you can read the newspaper article about my fight with the Austin Swamp, which is fine. I'll take that on. Or you can just look at what's been going on over in my court. Google my name and does not pull punches. You will see the story about what happened on my court. I'm not proud of it, but the Democrats on my court were manipulating dockets. They were delaying release of opinions, trying to change the outcome, move judges around. I said, no, you cannot do this. If you do this, I am going to tell the parties. I'm going to tell the world. I'm going to tell the public. I don't think they believe me. They made a mistake. By the way, I am also the chairman of the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. I am responsible for the ethical behavior of every judge from the JP court down here up to the Chief Justice of the Texas Supreme Court. And I'm not playing when it comes to an oath. You can disagree all you want about how a case should be properly decided. That's all fine. We in the courts have a job to do. And it's very, very simple. We don't have an army. We don't control a budget. We can't make you do what we ask you to do unless you are completely persuaded that it is a product of reason and an impartial assessment of the facts. If we get off that line, somebody has got to stand up and make us do right. And that's all of our jobs. It's in the canons of conduct. The canon I had to operate under was if a judge sees conduct that raises a serious question of fitness for office, he must take appropriate action. I'm going to keep doing that, whether people like it or not. Now, I've got all these fancy credentials you probably don't care about. I'll just tell you real quickly. I went to Baylor Law School here in Texas, graduated first in my law school class, the second highest score in the state bar exam the year it was given. I'm board certified in civil appellate law. That's the only thing the Texas Supreme Court does. I ran a fancy appellate practice at a tall building law firm. Throw all that stuff away. That's not what we need right now. What we need right now is something much more simple. Honest, courage, and a willingness to call them like you see them. Now, the Texas Supreme Court is a Republican court, and God bless the Republican Party. I'm a part of it. I have been a delegate to the state convention. I've been a delegate to the national convention. I have block walked with my fancy leather shoes and all the rest of it just like everybody else. But there is a challenge at the Texas Supreme Court. When I was running the appellate practice, it's law firm Jones Day, I filed a brief on behalf of basically the Fortune 100. In a case coming out of Minnesota, and we said, there's a problem with judges taking money and deciding cases that are consistent with the taking of money. And the worst example of it is Texas and the Texas Supreme Court. There was a study showing 2 law firms in this state contributing massive amounts of money to the Supreme Court. Outcomes up here. Their clients win this often. Next pay level down here. Straight line down to 0 for people who don't contribute. That may be a coincidence, but for judges, that appearance is unacceptable. Because you have to have complete confidence that we're just calling balls and strikes. If there's a question about it, that's too much. So eventually the Supreme Court agreed with us. It said, states, you have a compelling governmental interest in promoting confidence in judiciary. You can, despite the First Amendment, regulate the way judges raise money. What do you think other states have done? They pulled the money way down. What do you think Texas has done? Nothing. And who's in charge for the ethical rules and the rules of procedure that decide whether or not you can give money to a judge? The Texas Supreme Court. Change is overdue. Change is overdue. I've carried the fight over there. I'm prepared to carry the fight to the Texas Supreme Court. I'm going to win. Things are going to change. I need your help. My name is David Shank, Shank for Texas. I'm proud and blessed to have True Texas endorsement, Right to Life, Eagle Forum, and you ready for this? Dallas Morning News, Houston Chronicle, you name it. Study this race. This is a war. I am fighting the swamp. Out-of-state PAC money's now coming into this race. You can understand what's going on here. I need your help. Thank you very much.
Well, good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing this evening? It's good to be here with you all. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. I'm a candidate to be the governor of the great state of Texas, and I will disagree with one of the things that Mr. Shank said. I am looking for a fight, because I think that one of the problems that we have here in the state of Texas is that we have not been looking for a fight. You know, people often ask me, and I'll follow what the gentleman said, my favorite character in the Bible is Joshua, because it's very interesting that God knew that it had to be someone different that would take the children of Israel across the land. And when Joshua had that change of command ceremony, how many soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guards when we got here? Y'all know about change of command ceremonies. You get the new commander that comes in. I'm sure Joshua was very nervous, but God told him 3 times, be strong and of good courage. He told him this book of the law, the book of the law that he had given to Moses, do not turn from it from the right or to the left, to meditate upon it day and night. As long as you do that, you will have success and prosperity wherever you go. The 2 books of the law that we need to be focused on here in the great state of Texas is that book of the law, which is the Bible, and also the book of the law, which is the Constitution. And we have gotten away from both of those. Texas needs to once again understand that the power in the constitutional republic is not in the federal government. The power in the constitutional republic is in the states. And the Declaration of Independence has said, free and independent states created these United States of America. When you look at the document that's called the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, it lays down 18 things, just 18 things that the federal government's responsible for. And I kind of know that because I was a member of the United States House of Representatives. Outside of that, you got the 10th Amendment. And the 10th Amendment says all of the powers not delegated to the federal government are reserved to the states and to the people. When you read the Constitution, it says in Article 4, Section 4, 2 things that the federal government is supposed to guarantee to every state in the union. It's called the Guarantee Clause. Number 1, a Republican form of government, because we live in a constitutional republic, not a constitutional monarchy, where edicts, orders, mandates, and decrees are not law. But if you don't study, if you don't meditate upon it day and night, then all of a sudden you believe that someone can come down and say, this business can stay open, this business can close, and you abide by it. You as a healthy person must be locked into your house, and you abide by it. You as a healthy person, you cannot choose what therapies, protocols, and treatments that you want. When you have some type of affliction that there's only one thing and we're mandating it to you, that's why we're in this fight. That's why we're in this mess in Texas, because no one would ever thought that that would happen right here in Texas. But the second thing that the Guarantee Clause says is that every state in the union is supposed to be protected from invasion. That's exactly what we have. I spent 13 different countries, 3 different combat zones, 22 years in the United States Army. I got deployed to other countries to protect their border. And if you think about how insidious it is right now, we're sending thousands of American troops to protect the border of another country when we got a wide open border right here that we're doing nothing about. And the only way that gets resolved, you have strong leadership at the state level that says to Joe Biden and the rest of the Biden administration, you are in violation of the Constitution. You are doing something that is unconstitutional. You are enacting treason against us, a sovereign state. And we're going to go down there and do what you are refusing to do by intentional and purposeful actions. We're going to defend that border. We're going to create a border control zone. That means we're going to take it over. We're going to train, equip, and prepare our National Guard troops down there with the right rules of engagement. What dummy would send people into a hostile zone where the cartels are shooting across the river and tell them they can't shoot back? I've been on the receiving end of an AK-47, a PKM, and an RPG. You don't tell people they cannot shoot back when they've been fired upon. But that's how we're going to change the rule of engagement, because some people only understand strength and might. We're going to designate the cartels as a transnational narco-criminal terrorist organization. No more. No more can Texas. the platform by which this drug trafficking crisis is being spread throughout the country. No more should Texas be the #1 state for human and sex trafficking. Dallas and Houston, the top 2 cities for sex trafficking. No more should we have this public health crisis coming across our border. It should be offensive to you that we have people getting on airplanes showing an arrest warrant as their form of ID. That has to stop. We're also going to look at these non-governmental organizations that are down there, these 501c3s like Catholic Charities and Lutheran Ministries. We're going to revoke their license to operate in the state of Texas because they're a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. We're going to cut off all of these funds and benefits that we give to illegal immigrants. No more in-state tuition if you're here illegally. No more the $6 to $8 billion that we give to folks that are here illegally. Because we can take all of this excess spending and we can make sure that we pay down for your property taxes because we're going to get on the path where you can own your home. It is time for us to once again reassert that 10th Amendment. It is time for everyone to understand that those powers not delegated to the federal government are reserved to the states and to you, to the people. And that's the most important thing. It is time for us to have the courage to stand up. It is time for Republicans to stop bringing a plastic spoon to a gunfight, because often the left just continues to believe that they can run over us. It is time for us to make sure that we protect our children inside the womb, outside the womb, and educate our children. Texas is 46 out of 50 in education. No more teaching this standardized test where we're just creating robots and we're indoctrinating our children. What you saw happen here at the Carroll Independent School District, that's the mantra. We're going to stand up and fight. All of these local candidates, that's what you need to support. It's time for us to tell Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez what she said this weekend was a bunch of knucklehead mess. Texas is never going to turn blue. Texas is going to be a strong, God-fearing, constitutional, conservative state. Alan West, westfortexas.com. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Tough act to follow for a judicial candidate. So my name is Clint Morgan. I am a career prosecutor, and I'm a candidate for the Court of Criminal Appeals. So what is the Court of Criminal Appeals? In the state of Texas, we've got 3 levels to our court system. We've got the trial courts, and you all know what happens there. And if you don't like what happens to you in a trial court, you appeal. And that goes up to the courts of appeals. Now, there are 14 local courts of appeals across this state. You all have a Republican court here in Fort Worth. But if you don't like what happens to you at the Court of Appeals, if you're in a civil case, you go to the Supreme Court. In a criminal case, you go to the Court of Criminal Appeals. So that's what I'm running for. It is the state's highest court for criminal cases. It's equal to the Supreme Court. There's nothing above it except the federales. So I am running for this court because I believe we have a crisis of crime in this state. And I believe we need to confront that the way that Republicans confronted the last crisis of crime in the 90s, and that's with law and order. So what does that look like at this court? Well, we like to think that this is a nice Republican state, and you all still have a nice Republican Court of Appeals here. But in 2018, we lost courts of appeals in Dallas and in Austin and in San Antonio and in Houston. Right now, in the state of Texas, if you are a criminal defendant, you most likely, your appeal is heard by a court full of, controlled by Democrats. And many of these are not just, it's not just that they're Democrats, these are activist Democrats. There are unjust reversals going on. They are changing the law to make it harder to prosecute people, to make it harder to arrest people, to make it harder to gather evidence by the police. What we need is our Republican Court of Criminal Appeals at the top to be extra productive and extra vigorous in its application of the law to keep these judicial activists in check. That's what I want to do with this court. For 9.5 years, I have been the most productive appellate prosecutor in Harris County, probably the whole state. I've written about 400 briefs. I've had now 17 cases at the Court of Criminal Appeals. These are at or very near the top. I'm board certified in criminal appellate law. I have a long track record of being highly productive with a heavy workload. Before I was an appellate prosecutor, I worked at the court for 2 years, and for both of those years, my judge wrote the most opinions at the court. I saw firsthand what it takes to be productive, what it takes to get consensus, what it takes to drive an opinion through the court quickly and efficiently. I will do that because we need this court to be productive to keep the activist in check. Okay? I am challenging a Republican incumbent.
He's from Fort Worth. His name is Scott Walker. He is the least productive judge in the recorded history of this court. He averages about 4 opinions per year. That's about $46,200 he gets paid per opinion. When I worked at the court, my judge wrote 17 one year and 20 the next. That's the sort of productivity we need to aspire to, we need to aim for, and we need to expect of ourselves. We need to not settle for mediocrity. We need to strive for excellence. And that's what I'm offering here. I will agree. Thank you. So another part of law and order is not just the productivity, but the fidelity to the law, right? The criminal law protects people and deters crime when it is quick and predictable in its results. If you have judges changing the law from what it is originally written, then you have ceased being a predictable system. And then criminals think maybe they can get away with things. Prosecutors aren't certain what cases to take. Defense lawyers go to trial when their guy's guilty as sin. Judges make bad rulings. Defendants get off for no good reason. That's what happens when you are not faithful to the written law as it is. I am an originalist. I've got examples on my website of where in my briefs I have gone back and looked at the original text of the Texas Constitution. I've looked at the statutes and the historical circumstances surrounding its adoption to derive the original meaning of the document. That's what I'm going to bring. We're going to follow the law as written, and we're going to deliver more opinions. We're going to keep the activists in check that way because that's the law and order Texans deserve. Now, this court does not often make the news, but it was in the news in December. In a case called Ex parte Stevens, 8 Republican judges, including the guy I'm running against, held that the Attorney General of the state cannot enforce election laws. What that means is we are now reliant, because of this decision, on the district attorney in Dallas and the district attorney in San Antonio to enforce the election laws there. We no longer have state supervision of that. That is the result of what this Court of Criminal Appeals and my opponent have done. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I live in Sugar Land. I've got 4 kiddos. Number 4 was born in December. So when you see my little picture, my pamphlets, her picture's not on there quite yet. My wife, possibly campaign manager, is an amazing woman. She's got a PhD. She runs her own statistical consulting company. She's a COO of a tech startup. She does web and graphic design. And by the way, she's homeschooling our children. So people see me out on the campaign trail. They say this is a lot of work. I say, no, I just drive around and talk to conservatives. My wife's the one at home handling all the big stuff. So I just want to tell you also, my name is Clint Morgan. You can look me up at clintforjudge.com. I'm running for the Court of Criminal Appeals. I'm running on a law and order platform because I believe that's how we keep Texans safe.
Good job, Clint. Howdy, Patriots. Come on. Howdy, Patriots. There we go. I'm an Aggie, so you know we gotta with our howdy. Whoop. So my name is Kerry Council, and I'm running to be your next Texas Ag Commissioner. How many people in here do we have involved in agriculture? Every single hand should be in the air. If you're wearing clothes and you ate, you're involved in agriculture. How about last February when the water stopped through your door, who are you going to scream at? That's water. That's your agriculture. If you're going to eat and you're going to drink, you're in agriculture. I'm a veteran. I'm going to take my hat off for the veterans because without our veterans, we wouldn't be here today. Thank you. Thank you. So, like I said, I'm an Aggie. I'm also a business owner, but I'm also a 5th generation rancher. But most importantly, I'm a father. I'm a father to 4 kids. And for you attorneys in here, you understand how important this is to me because I have something I'm not proud of. I went through a divorce about 4 years ago, but I got custody of my kids. I fought like hell. That shows you integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is what you do when the door's closed, right? So you need somebody that can stand up and fight for you, that has experience. I'm an economics professor. I teach economics at the college. I've been there for 20 years. I run my family ranch. It's not something that was handed to me. It's something that I bought. My grandfather was a farmer. My great-grandfather was a farmer. Dad's a farmer. I got out of high school, went in the military. What's the last thing I wanted to do? Be a damn farmer. That's a lot of work. So I got out and left and moved away. Got a little money. What's the first thing I did? Buy a little land. So I own Texas. So I've got about 500 acres now. I don't know where the hell it came from, but I've got 500 acres now, got a couple hundred mama cows, and that's what I do. That's going to be my nest egg, and that's my retirement. That's where my kids are at. That's why I'm driving back to Brenham, Texas. How about that Bluebell? Does everybody like Bluebell? Hey, when Bluebell stopped making Bluebell, we didn't switch to another Ben & Jerry's of those liberal ice creams. We just lost about 30 pounds, right? Yeah, we didn't go to another ice cream. We just stopped eating ice cream. So if you haven't got one of my baby blue cards, I've tried to make sure everybody's got one. This is me. I'm the real deal. I am agriculture. Is everybody tired of the crap that's going on in Austin? Then you need to pay attention to your current agriculture commissioner, because your current agriculture commissioner has indictments and ethics violations and problems in Austin. And if you don't know that, that's your responsibility as patriots to know that. That's the reason I'm running. I'm a godly man. God put me in this position. I don't need this position. I could retire at the college. I'm good. I'm self-funding this campaign. What does that mean? There's nobody in my pocket. Is it expensive? Yeah. I'm running the whole state, from Texline to Brownsville, from Orange to El Paso. Sarge Summers, bless his heart, Sarge Summers lost his life. He's on your ballot, doing the same thing that all of us state candidates are doing, running over the state of Texas. He got killed last Tuesday. He's on the ballot. He's your railroad commissioner. He's running for railroad commissioner, and he lost his life. He rear-ended an 18-wheeler. So it hit all of us hard, because it could have been any one of us. We're out there running, getting 3 hours sleep, running up and down the roads for who? All of us. Because we care. We're out here to make a difference. The baby blue card that I got, I don't want to dwell anymore on this. I'm going to get emotional over it, because it's one of those things that could have been any one of us. The baby blue card that you got on here is important. There's 5 things that I think is important, and one of them really chaps me off is because we have not closed the damn border yet. Every candidate's saying they're going to do it. Does an ag commissioner have anything to do with that? No, but I can be your liaison, and it's affecting all the farmers on the border. Every farmer down there is getting run over. Number 2, water rights. What happens when you lose your water? All the farmers out here have the water underneath their soil and the water on top of their soil. What if they take all these beautiful lakes and decide they want to ship these lakes off? Or Dallas wants to claim your water, or Fort Worth wants to claim your water. California's moving to Texas, people. They're moving here. Where are we going to get the food and water for these people coming from California? Mexico. How about desalinization? How about desalinization? We can ship it straight up I-45. Ship it straight up I-37 to Corpus. Ship it up the Rio Grande and fill up Falcon Lake back there and let it run back down the Rio Grande, and we have our own border. There's lots of things out there that can be done. The number one priority, get the foreigners the hell out of Texas. They're buying up our Texas farmlands. They're putting these big windmills in. They're putting solar farms in. They're taking our good, fertile Texas land. Get rid of their ag exemption if they do that. You lose your ag exemption. That's another option. I bet they'll stop that real quick. There's 8 states. Dr. Spires stole this from me last week. There's 8 states in the state of the United States that do not allow Texas soil, foreigners to buy land in their state. Texas is not one of them. There's 8 states. That's something that can be done here. It's something we can do. Your ag commissioner will work with your legislators, and we'll work on that. So, protecting your waterways, control inflationary spending. I teach economics. You think I could help with that? Absolutely. You're paying 2 biggest inflationary items you deal with on a daily basis, your food and your fuel. Both of them have gone up almost 30%. I will work for you. My name is Kerry Council. I'm running for Texas Ag Commissioner. Thank you. If you haven't got a blue card, I'll get you one.
Thank you. Good evening. How are you? How are you? I've just been sitting over here listening to these guys going, great, I've got to go next. This is so nice to be here. We have been traveling all over the state, and I live 10 minutes from here, so tonight it was like, yes. And my son goes, we're not going anywhere today. Our 13-year-old has been traveling with us. I am a homeschool mother of 7. Our youngest, 13, is the last one to be homeschooled, so he's getting school on the road right now. But more importantly, I'm a believer. And we had someone up here earlier that was also running for lieutenant governor, and he shared the truth. And he shared a real important message, and it's something I think we all know, but are we all willing to really act on it? And that is we're at war. We're at war on our border, but we're at war in the spirit. And if we don't believe those principles as Christians, then what are we going to do about the Constitution? These are not just suggestions. They're our founding principles. And I can tell you from working down in Austin as a grassroots activist, volunteer, since 2011, going every session. And when I say going every session, that means that man back there was at home helping to homeschool while I would go down with Texas Eagle Forum or Dallas Eagle Forum, and we would walk the halls and we would work legislation. And when I'm talking about legislation, I'm not saying we would go down to just testify. We would find the model legislation that had to do with pro-life, pro-family. We also did a lot of work in national security and how it applies to Texas, including the grid. And we would work that legislation, and we would find those subject matter experts. And we were dealing with all state offices held by Republicans, the House and the Senate held by Republicans. Do you know the priorities that we have, the ones that we hand to them on a list? How many they have passed? You'll hear 2 or 3 or 1. Really and truly, we're begging and getting nothing. That's not how this should work. We have been, how many of you have served as a delegate? Okay, true, honest moment here. I love policy. I love going down to Austin. I love being able to sit in the gallery and listen and watch how it all worked out. I want to know how things work. I don't like going to convention. Robert's Rule of Law, not my thing. And with 7 children, if you're committing to that for 3 or 4 days, that's a lot of money. You're invested. That's right. But why do we do it? We do it because we come up with that platform, which is an incredible set of principles of what we believe in. And then we made it even easier for these legislators and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who is the one in charge of legislation. So when you are mad at Abbott and you have Abbott's hit list, you need to have Dan Patrick on there too, because he can't get that done unless it's executive orders. If Dan Patrick isn't passing the bills, he's the gatekeeper. The lieutenant governor is the most powerful position in the state of Texas. That role is the gatekeeper. They decide where the legislation goes, when it will go, who's the committee chair. Think about it. Really, Abbott is at the behest of the lieutenant governor. Yes, Abbott's a problem. We need new leadership. When I'm asked, what are you going to do on the border? Well, guess what? Unless we get a new governor who will actually move and do something, legislatively, we're stuck. We can pass laws, but we've got to have the governor. Right now, that governor would need to say, we are at war, we're being invaded, we need to move. Then the lieutenant governor gets to say, okay, we're going to pass legislation that doesn't just fund this, but we're actually going to go and have the authority to form this is legislation we gave them in 2011, Interstate Compact. We could be working with other states, Arizona, New Mexico, California. You know what they've done with it every single year? Nothing. Senator Bob Hall has filed it every year. You know what Dan Patrick's done with it? Nothing. I'm tired of nothing. So it's time for us to make a change. And please, I want to tell you this. This is so important because many of you, we've worked together. We've worked campaigns. We've done this. We can make a difference now. I want to challenge you when you leave here tonight. You go call every friend, every family member you can. And I'm not talking about just voting for me. That would be nice, but that's not just what I'm talking about. We need a new governor. We need a new lieutenant governor. We need new people who believe in our Constitution, believe in our faith and our founding principles, and will take action. But it's up to us. And I can tell you, going around the state, people kept asking me, isn't this hard? Aren't you tired or whatever? It's been amazing. I have met some incredible people everywhere we go, and we're going to Levelland, we're going to Alpine, we're all over the place, these towns out in the middle of nowhere. But you know what they're all saying? These are people who are not participating in politics, but they vote, they love their families, they want to leave a legacy, and they're saying something's wrong, and we want to get involved. So now is the time. They know. You ask them what's on your heart. What are your priorities? Guess what? They know. They're the same as our priorities. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. It is so great to be with you guys. Thank you. Yeah. Well, let me first say thank you to the True Texas Project's board. They unanimously voted to recommend me to be your next Attorney General. I am very, very grateful for that. But I was just asked before I came in on a radio interview, you have such a safe seat. Well, I never take it to be safe. That's why I'm always been all over my district. And they think just because I normally win about 75% of the vote, that it's a safe district. Well, why would I leave that? Well, there was trash put out by the Paxton camp that I was doing it just for the salary. Well, I didn't know how much. I never did check and found out last week it's about 20 or 30,000 less. It didn't matter. That's not what it was about, ever. They said I was in this race to make George P. Bush the next Attorney General. No, I wouldn't do that to get somebody else elected. That's ridiculous. Everybody elect, well, 3/4 of my district will elect me because they know I'll shoot straight with them. And I'm shooting straight with you. I would love to have been in Washington in Congress a year from now, in the majority. I already had a rule prepared. Every 2 years we have new rules. I already had a new one I wanted to push through. Those Democrats unanimously voted for rules that made us have to go through an extra wave of metal detectors to get on the House floor, have to wear masks all the time on the House floor. My rule said that if you voted for the rules in January of 2021 that required metal detectors and masks, you have to keep living under those rules, and the rest of us have a new set of rules. You know? But what I've been seeing for over 3 years now was an attorney general that wasn't doing the job that needed to be done. Oh yeah, ever since his top 7 people sent a letter of referral to the FBI saying our boss has been engaged in bribery, corruption, abuse of office. Oh yeah, he's gotten really active. He's filing lawsuits. People are saying, but he's filing all these good suits. Where has he been the last several years before? Well, we know according to his staff, and that indiscretion is not against the law, but his staff, the top people, said what it led to when she got fired for carrying on with another Senate colleague's husband, the Attorney General. She calls the Attorney General these allegations and said, hey, I got fired because of you. Now you need to find me a job. I want to make $100,000 a year. He gets with a big developer, a donor there in Austin, hires her for $100,000 a year, and then he starts getting favors back from the Attorney General's office. This is not the way an Attorney General's office is supposed to be, and especially not when our country's hanging in the balance. You know, we've got our four biggest counties are controlled by Democrat DAs who don't want to pursue the crimes that have gone on there as she should. It's outrageous. If we lose the Attorney General's office, then it really looks like we will be going blue. Not legitimately, but legally, because of the cheating. And this Attorney General could have done something in December 2018, and he didn't. He saw what I did, looked like probable cause, grab the voting machine software, laptop, flash drives, and do something with them, start prosecuting. Well, he seems relieved that the Court of Criminal Appeals now has said, well, you can't prosecute voter fraud. Well, look, I'm talking to the legislatures as he should have done, and we got to have a law that lets our Attorney General go after organized crime wherever it is, because this state's in trouble. The drug cartels are setting up here. And when it comes to our border, look, I know the Supreme Court said that the state and local law enforcement cannot enforce immigration. Well, it's not immigration until they set foot on Texas soil. It's time to repel the invasion. We can legally do that under Article 4 of the U.S. Constitution. You don't let people put a foot on Texas soil, because once they do, now it's immigration and you got to give them a hearing. So secure the elections. We got over 750 lawyers. Why wouldn't we have one at election time in every county in Texas ready to get an injunction and enforce election laws? We've got to do this. Why would I leave Congress when we're about to be in the majority next year? Maybe, if it's a legal election. It's because my state is at risk for being turned a color it's not. And Texas, we lose Texas, we lose the country. It will be gone. I'm here fighting for Texas so we can fight for the country. And I hope you'll give me that chance to be the highest elected law officer in this state. Thank y'all so much.
Hey, I think they got me on here because they thought I was going to be the last thing on the program, and that's always what they put me on, right? Everybody wants to see the last thing. I think I may have some more. But anyhow, it's an honor to be here. My name is Wayne Christian. You can remember me on the ballot statewide. I'm the only Christian on the ballot, okay? I can prove it. Okay, but I am your Texas chairman of the Texas Railroad Commission. The Railroad Commission of Texas ain't got nothing to do with railroads, if you don't know what it is. It's a third of the budget of Texas it represents. It's 1 out of every 10 jobs. It's all the rainy day fund that makes us different from other states. It is the the textbook and the public education fund of the state of Texas. It makes us the greatest state in the nation, or the power to do so if we'll change a few things for the education program. It's oil, gas, coal, fossil fuel, what God gave us that made Texas different, right? And there's people every day like AOC and Joe Biden and Al Gore and John Kerry and all these folk up there that said, oh, this is dirty, it's terrible, we don't want oil, gas, and coal anywhere in the world. Let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you, what we want is clean, plentiful, reliable, and cheap energy, right? Clean, plentiful, reliable, and cheap energy. That's what we want in America. Is it clean? Let me tell you, the last 100 years, we have decreased environmental deaths in this country by 99%. We ain't killing folks. Okay. Number two, Barack Obama's EPA has announced before they left that the last 50 years we have reduced every poisonous gas the EPA identifies by 77%. We are clean. We are in America. Joe Biden, dig this, in the last speech to Congress, he said, we are 15% of the world's environment. The rest of the world is 85% of the environment. If we did everything right, it would make no difference. In the next sentence, he says, that's why I'm signing the Paris Accord. $78 trillion, hundreds of thousands of jobs in America for signing that blessed thing. Folks, let me tell you, the biggest scam on the American public I've seen in my lifetime is this environmental extremist movement. It absolutely is. Let me tell you, I did a piece have it out on the table. I had a piece that the Wall Street Journal published. Now, this is bad on the Wall Street Journal to think they published me, but they did. And what it basically says in Texas language is, why did we have this falling out of electricity, and why are we having unreliable, and what happened during the storm, what should we learn? We have spent so much of your and my tax dollar on unreliable wind and solar, we let the pilot light go out on reliable energy, oil, coal, gas, and nuclear in this state. And let me tell you something, folks, since the storm, we're gaining 1,000 folks a day legally, no telling how many illegally, into the state of Texas, and yet we have more since the storm, windmills and solar panels that you and me pay 90% of the cost. And we have zero gas, zero nuclear, and zero coal electric generating plants currently on the books in Texas. Think of that. Now, what happened? You hear all these politicians get up, good Texas friends of mine, they say, we're for all the above. I'm not. I'm not for energy that is unreliable. During that storm, folks, wind and solar went from 28% down to 0 and 5% respectively. Gas went from 48% to 70%. 99.5% of folks that needed natural gas got it during that storm. Okay? We at the Railroad Commission regulate natural gas. We did our job. And you're sitting here going, all right, why are we not having more? Let me tell you, is it plentiful? That's one of the things, is it plentiful? Let me tell you what the good Lord's given us. Back World War I, 1917, in World War I, at the end, the American Museum of Petroleum, they have this notice to the state of Texas thanking the Ranger Field close up here, okay, Tarrant County, Eastern County. And it said, we thank you for the wave of oil that hit World War I. World War II, Winston Churchill, I got the poster in my office, he said, we want to thank East Texas for the sea of oil that won World War II. Let me tell you what happened. When I became a railroad commissioner for you 5 years ago, my wife and I were driving home, and the radio came on that we had discovered the largest amount of oil in history in West Texas. Folks went in there and thought it was 40 billion barrels. Let me give you just a quick history on it. 34 billion was the total amount of reserve from Alaska through Brownsville back in 2017. Right now, out in West Texas, God has given us up to projected 230 billion barrels of oil. And what are they telling us to do with it? Keep it in the ground. Let me tell you something, folks. I am the one I was the first Republican since Reconstruction elected from Deep East Texas. I was the man who was the chairman of the platform committee at the Republican convention that put the legislative intent agenda in there. Okay? I think we need to know what's going on. I trust the people. Let me tell you how much I trust the people. Back when, if you remember when West Texas Intermediate went to a negative for the first time in history because Russia and Germany and some of those the Russians and the Saudis made a deal and they tried to get the price down and break Texas. And then the Chinese came in with the Chinese virus and all that kind of junk and price went to negative. What happened, folks, is they wanted me to cap the price. And I said, that is not conservative politics. I made the decision alone to go to the industry and say to the landowners, to the royalty owners, to all the companies, y'all come up with an answer. And when I made that decision, West Texas Intermediate went to a positive number, and it's up near $90 today. Folks, we need to practice what we preach. I want to thank you for being your chosen candidate, whatever they call it. There's a right word for it, and I'll screw it up if I say it. But your organization has endorsed me to the largest extent. And the sign says stop. I just stopped with a thank you very much. And just remember, Christian for Texas, the only Christian on the ballot.
Thank you so much for that, Wayne. Good friend of mine. How y'all doing this evening? Thanks. Great. It's good to be with you. As I was sitting here watching you, your engagement, I know how, I believe you started maybe as the North Texas Tea Party. Yes. And I remember my first session in 2011, many of you came up there, you wanted new leadership. I was one of those 15 Republicans that that red lighted and voted against Joe Strauss because that's what you asked for. My name is State Representative James White, 6th generation Texan. I'm a veteran, proudly served 7 years, 3 of those in the Berlin Brigade. Under Ronald Reagan, we saw the fall of the Berlin Wall. We saw the demise of the Soviet Union. What I saw was what happens when you have the true conviction of a conservative like Reagan exhibited, and you can get stuff done by having true conservative conviction. Came back to Texas, small beef cattle operator, taught government and economics for 17 years. I will tell you, it doesn't work like the government textbook says it works in the legislature, okay? The economics does work the way it is in the textbook. It does work that way. But with that, I offered myself up in 2010. Some of you out there were instrumental in putting me on your shoulder, lifting me up, taking me to the legislature in 2010, served that first session in 2011, served 6 sessions in total. Last session, I served as the chair of Homeland Security and Public Safety, and I told the speaker, I said, I'll do it on 2 conditions. One, we've got to triple border security to $3 billion from $800 million, and the money has to be for the wall, which you were promised back in 2005. And then I told him, this is my gotta get home bill. We gotta pass constitutional carry. I said, if we can do those, if you allow me to do those 2 things, and I shot that bill out early. It didn't sit there. You know the games that are played until April, until May, and we come to you and we just say, I'm out of time. I'm running to be your next ag commissioner because I love Texas. And I love the people of Texas that make this state prosperous, free, and independent. And you deserve a commissioner that's a proven conservative that you can trust to protect this $115 billion industry called agriculture. A proven conservative, again, that triple border security. A proven conservative, this chair that made sure constitutional carry passed after you've asked for it for 5 sessions. A proven conservative that not only co-authored the heartbeat bill, but I went out and found a friend of the court brief, which I signed on, the Mississippi abortion ban bill. I found a friend of a court brief and I signed on to that. A proven conservative that joint authored and authored legislation that eventually pushed back against this reprehensible thing called critical race theory. A proven conservative that passed bail reform, joint authored that legislation to give our judges more direction to keep violent criminals locked up in the jail. A proven conservative that served on the House Agriculture Committee, passed legislation to lower the burdensome, eliminate the regulatory footprint on our East Texas loggers. A proven conservative that passed legislation to ease the regulations and eliminate unneeded regulations on small commercial poultry meat processors. So you need a proven conservative. You don't need a conservative, let me back up, you don't need a commissioner that's going to complain on conservative podcasts that the governor isn't taking his call. You need a conservative that says, I'll figure it out, I'll get to the governor's office, I'll get to whoever's office I have to get to, and we'll triple border security. You need a proven conservative that's going to protect the economic security, not only of farmers and ranchers, but your economic security. Budgets that I voted for in the legislature have not raised taxes and have not violated any of your constitutional spending limits. The current leadership has doubled and tripled taxes and fees on farmers and ranchers. So you can't trust that person with your economic security. Here's another thing, weights and measures. That's something that the Ag Department deals with. You have to have someone that you can trust, that when you're taking those, when they're weighing that stuff at the grocery store or at the airport, and those scales have to be weighed, tested by the Texas Department of Agriculture, you need to have the confidence that that's done with integrity. I've had to reform systems like the criminal justice systems. I served as chair of Homeland Security and chair of the corrections systems. Well, I had to come up with procedures and legislation to improve integrity in the criminal justice system. You cannot trust the current leadership because the current leadership did not even know that his 3-decade-long campaign consultant was taking cash into the Texas Department of Agriculture to buy access. So you can't trust the current leadership with your weights and measures. JamesWhiteForTexas.com, JamesWhiteForTexas.com, a proven conservative that you can trust to defend, protect, and secure our great agriculture industry. God bless you, and God bless all of you.
Good evening, and thank you for sticking around. My name is Victor Avila, and I'm running to be your next Texas Land Commissioner. I'm a retired ICE Homeland Security Special Agent. What you're going to get in this office is a change agent. Things are going to change with this office. This office of the Texas Land Commissioner has a lot of authority and a lot of jurisdiction, but you don't know it because it hasn't been exercised. I will. Let's start with the border. And I'm going to share a story that happened, I haven't shared it publicly, it happened to me yesterday. I got kicked off American Airlines and banned last night from coming back from the border because my mask came down below my nose. Yet, 12 illegal aliens, single adult males, without any identification are able to board the plane. I've had about enough. Am I upset? Yes, I am. I've seen it for 20 years in my career. The human trafficking, the smuggling. What's happening at the border right now, it's out of control, ladies and gentlemen. I just got back from Kenny County last night. Talked to Sheriff Cole. They're not getting the resources from the state. The resources are going to our DPS troopers, which is great. But do not be confused about what's going on the border right now. There is an enormous amount of law enforcement activity happening on the state of Texas on the border. They're grabbing human smugglers, they're grabbing drug traffickers, they're grabbing people with guns, people with warrants, expired stickers, expired registration. It's great. It's awesome. But that's law enforcement. That is not border security. Border security, I think, one of the candidates said it today, is when you keep the people from coming in here illegally in the first place. That's what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm going to build a wall. I know where to build it. I know the border like no one else running for this office. And let me tell you what I'm going to do with this office, because a lot of people just relate me as a retired federal agent. Yes, but I also was a diplomat, and I bring a lot of negotiation skills. I'm a negotiator, and I'm a good one. I've negotiated deals between Mexico and the United States, memorandums of understanding, and between Europe and the United States, putting this country first. Will I negotiate? Yes, I will. With the sale and lease of our lands? Yes, I will. Will I sell it to China? Absolutely not. Never. How does the General Land Office not say anything about the 140,000 acres that were sold to the Chinese billionaire with ties to the CCP in Del Rio, Texas? I did. I asked. You know what the answer was? It's not our jurisdiction. I know jurisdiction. I've worked jurisdiction all my life. I know how to work with FBI. I know how to work with DEA. I know how to work with U.S. Marshals. And they know how to work with me. Just because I didn't have the jurisdiction didn't mean that I was cut out of the picture. I will be involved. I will have my eyes on this. Human trafficking, that's my subject matter expertise. That's what I did most of my career, is rescue women and children from these atrocities. And what's happening right now with the cartels are out of control. They asked me to be, I couldn't be on Fox News tonight because I'd rather be here with you to talk about, and I'm going to tell you why. I couldn't do the hit because I would tell them I was here because they wanted to talk about a story of the cartels having some of their members initiated by cannibalism. That's right. I've seen the video. I have the videos of them playing soccer with human heads. I've seen them taking the heart out of a human being and holding it in their hand as it still beats. This is the direct threat and national security that we face in our state of Texas. It's not all border security that I'm concerned about, but as you can tell, that's the number one issue that I'm going to deal with. But I'm also very concerned about our veterans. I was outside, thank you. I was outside of Catholic Charities, and thank you to the Colonel for mentioning these places. I'm with you. We're going to rip their licenses. It was freezing rain in McAllen, Texas. We were cold out there. I was trying to get in there. I've already gained access a few months before, but I was outside with a few homeless. One of them was a veteran. They were denied entry into Catholic Charities because they're American. Yet right in front of my face, as I videotaped them, Haitians and Africans and Venezuelans were welcomed with open arms. I don't recognize our country and our state anymore. And you can imagine my blood boiling while I was there. What you're gonna get with me as a fighter, tomorrow, February 15, 2011, I want you to do a prayer for me. Pray for Special Agent Jaime Zapata's family, because tomorrow is the 11th anniversary that him and I were ambushed by the cartel. He paid the ultimate sacrifice and was killed in line of duty in defending our homeland. I'm here after being shot 3 times by the grace of God. I'm unafraid. I will take our governor. I will take the lieutenant governor to Mexico. We're gonna go have a little chit chat with him over there. It's time. Go, thank you very much. Go to VictorAvilaTX.com, VictorAvilaTX.com, and I hope to earn your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much. Again, we lost the lights. Thank you guys for being here. Go vote, and we'll see you next month. And be sure and talk to candidates out here. So thanks again. One second, we've got one more candidate. She's going to introduce herself if I can have your attention.
Hi guys, sorry. I was supposed to be in El Paso tomorrow and I have a funeral now tomorrow, so I'm got to stop in. My name is Sarah Stogner. I am running for Railroad Commissioner. I am an oil and gas lawyer. I am a mom. I am not a politician, but I am angry. We have radioactive water. Our water is not safe. Mr. Christian's a very nice man, but our industries, as an oil and gas lawyer, our industries have been buying their way into permits. They've been buying their way out of responsibility, and half of the Railroad Commission's budget goes to plugging orphaned wells. What does that mean? They are tasked with making sure that oil and gas operators actually do their jobs and keep our groundwater protected. They also are required to plug a well when they're done using it. They haven't done that. So what's happened? We gave them $50 million a year to go and plug what operators have left. That is not acceptable. If I am elected, I'm going to bring transparency. I'm going to make sure that every single landowner, Texan, if they call, they have access to the Railroad Commission because they have exclusive jurisdiction. If you've ever been around and you've seen an old abandoned well and you call, you have to file it as a complaint. You have to say the words complaint because if you don't use the magic words, it doesn't get recorded properly. Go and look at the fines that they brag about. How much of those fines are actually collected? They're not, because they only fine defunct companies. Chevron had a well that was plugged in the 1990s. They're telling me to stop. You can find me at sarah4rrc.com. I'll be outside. I have no political aspirations other than this. And if I don't win, I'm not going away. I'm going to run against Christy Craddock in 2 years. So thank you.
Thank you. Good night.